next episode of Breathe. This is life. I'm Monica Schuster and I'm really happy you are here. This podcast is about you, about me, about life, and about reminding you who you really are. A little break from the hectic everyday to feel, to breathe, and to just be. And maybe also to see things from a new and from a different perspective. Today's topic is setting boundaries and how do we can change or reframe the name setting boundaries into a joyful, light soul game. Because how often do you say, I really need to set boundaries now? With people, in situations, in behaviors. And usually this realization of setting boundaries comes when you already been hurt, ignored, or not taken seriously, isn't it? And then we start to build walls. High walls, thick walls, walls that actually reaches towards the universe. Or, I know so many people who build their walls and fences, which actually feels like a big, huge castle around them. And that picture, when I always picture that, you're standing by yourself inside of your castle boundary. That feels so hard, so stiff, so isolated, isn't it? And then the next question is, how long do those walls or those castles actually last? And why do we end up tearing them down again? It feels like we are busy with building and tearing down the castle boundaries alternatively. A constant game with building, tearing down, building, tearing down, building, tearing down. Do you know that game? Isn't it frustrating? And why do we still in that game? In the real life, when you set boundaries, when you build a fence in your yard, you don't tear them down a week later or so, aren't you? No. This should last forever, or at least as long as you have the house. But our mind boundaries with people, with situations, with behavior, they don't last the entire life. They last maybe for a couple of days, weeks, I don't know, maybe months. And why is it so? Why do we do that? Building up and tearing down. Is it really because of fear? Fear of losing the very people we try to protect ourselves from? Isn't it funny and sad at the same time? And why build up walls? Because of unhealthy people and situation? In the next moment or the next months, we tear them down again and continue the story over and over again? Honestly, if you build a fence, doesn't matter in your soul, in your mind, in your yard, it's always a lot of work, isn't it? But if something is joyful, something has a happy task, a cool, fun task, then at least you will do it on a loving way, right? So I ask myself, what if boundaries weren't something hard or rejecting, but a gentle invitation to step deeper into our own truths? And what I learned pretty early as a child on a very unique way is because I stuttered and pretty quickly I figured out which words were easy for me to pronounce and which weren't. So for those words who weren't easy for me, I found alternatives and I adapted because I chose the easiest way for me. And today, when I feel the same inner resistance with certain situations, like setting and holding boundaries, which feels heavy, a must, I have to. So I looked for alternatives. something that feels lighter for me, easier for me, with way more joy and fun. So that's why I don't talk about setting boundaries. I talk about expanding my inner circle of light. Isn't it nice? I love that saying. And that simple shift changed everything. It doesn't feel shutting someone out or closing myself up in a big castle or so. It feels open, it feels safe and able to be myself and able to breathe. It feels like protecting myself from within by expanding myself. Boundaries at their core are just protection, like a fence, but a lightful fence, a sacred fence for yourself. It should preserve your beauty, reflects your light and strengthens your power. And the funny thing is, for the longest time thought I was afraid to set boundaries. I did not want to push anyone or anything out, which I would like to invite later again. That's the funny thing anyhow, I think. But it was so hard. I did not want to live in a castle by myself, but I neither want to push anyone out and said, I don't want you here in my life anymore. So it was kind of like, I couldn't do it. So the fear of being abandoned was way stronger than my own voice. So that's why, I became a people pleaser. I said yes. When everything in myself was screaming, no! I stayed in conversations long after my energy was gone, and I stayed in projects that no longer nourished me. And the result was I gave away more and more of my time, of my joy and my life. Until it clicked and I was like, wait a minute, I was missing out on my life. I wasn't truly myself anywhere. So I thought, okay, instead of setting boundaries, why I do not expand my inner circle? And in that way, I felt supported and secured way better than anything else. And then I received an image, which I would like to share with you because I love that image. I was standing in the middle of a huge crowd. People were so close. They were pressing against me. I could feel their breath. I could hear their voices, their expectations, their emotions louder than my own. I was drowning in their energy. And suddenly the image shifted. I was still standing in there, but now a wide, radiant circle surrounded me, stretching at least 100 meters from my heart. This circle held everything that is truly me. What I feel, what I think, what I am. My entire me, my aura, my energy, my essence. And it was like, wow. I felt safe, I felt secure, I felt light, and I had the space around me. It was kind of like a lightful castle, but without thick walls. It was light, it was thin. I was able to see everything. And I was able to feel everything, but with a distance. People were still there, family, friends, colleagues. I could see them, they could see me, but they could not longer overwhelm me because of no thick, dark walls, but expanding my circle. And then I realized one of the essential meaning of life. It was my decision. I decide. It's my own decision. I decide whether I hold the space for myself or for others. Whether I build walls to push people away, thick, dark walls, or expand my circle to feel me. The others, the outside, are just the mirror of my decision. They are simply a reflection. I mean, not that I didn't know that before, but in that moment, it became so crystal clear again. Do you have that moment when it sometimes you know that, but all of a sudden it clicks and you're like, yeah, sure, of course. Now it even makes even more sense. And finally, there was space. There was space to breathe, space to feel, space just for me, for my essence. And when we recall this picture again and again, when we make it as a daily reminder, we can start taking responsibility for our feelings, our thoughts, and our being over and over again. And then, in that moment, we can step into our own power because it is our own decision. We are protected then. We don't have to push anyone away, but we also can step out of the guilt that so often comes with setting that hard, stiff boundaries. Guilt of pushing someone or something away. We don't have to do that if we just expand our own circle. So I have learned to make now every decision with my body. How do I feel? Do I feel contraction or do I feel expanding? Does it contract or expand? Contraction is my inner clear no, when everything gets stiff and everything gets hard, when my body feels like it has to concentrate and getting strong. Then it's a clear no, because everything is hard, is stiff, it's a must. Expansion, on the other side, is my joyful yes. When everything opens up, when you can release, when it feels like your aura, your energy field is expanding on every side, left, right, front, back, above, underneath. It feels like your energy field is everywhere. That's a yes. And you open up. It's so simple. You don't need to say no. You just need to say yes to yourself. When your body opens up, that's your protection, opens up for yourself. My body has become my inner pendulum. That's how I've learned to stay visible, to stay truly me, and to finally live for myself without sacrificing for my life for others. Boundaries are not here to build heavy walls, to build castles or buildings around us. They are about spreading your wings. And wings carry so much more beauty and power than walls ever could. And of course there are still moments, and there always will be, when my body says no. Double no. Definitely no. And I will say yes anyway. Because life happens. But here is the difference. It doesn't mean I'm living against myself anymore. Because I start to make a deal with myself. I have an inner conversation. For example, before a meeting you don't want to attend, or before you have a client which you're actually not a super good friend with, or all those things, or a task you really dislike, but hey, that's life. There will always be something which you don't like to do, but you have to do. And then I will tell myself, I know this doesn't feel great right now. And yes, I recognize we, mind, body and soul, hate to do this. But let's do it for this or that reason. And I explain myself the reason, whether it is for work, for money, for something that matters, or maybe for a family member or a friend. And I explain myself the reason. Why is it for? Why I have to do it? And after the explanation, I said, once it's done, I will give myself something good. Maybe a half hour of silence, or maybe a piece of cake and ice cream, or maybe I promise myself dancing in the living room, or hearing my favorite music in the car while I'm driving, or something that brings me back to my joy, back to myself. And since I've started having this conversation with myself, the unpleasant tasks don't feel so heavy anymore, because my being is already leaning towards the joy that comes afterwards. Maybe you want to try that out as well. It works. It really does. And one more story, because this happened recently. I talked to a friend of mine, and we talked about that boundary topic. And she mentioned that she loves to give advice to friends and family members. But her saying was, I guess I need to set boundaries about that now, because I love to do it, but nobody recognizes it and nobody appreciates it. And there is no thank you sometimes. And I was like, I feel so sad, because sharing our wisdom, it should be the most pleasant thing. We shouldn't set boundaries about that. And I got this picture of a beautiful lake, the lake of our wisdoms. This big lake provides our full wisdom, our tools, our insight. And sometimes we are the keeper of the lake, to keep it active, to keep it alive with this wisdom. And the other ones are the visitors. And some of the visitors may dive in with joy and take exactly what they need, and almost everything what they need and what they want. And others might just walk around the shore, admire its beauty and leave. And both is fine. It's just simply to keep the lake alive and flowing. And the truth is, we are both as well. We might sometimes be the keeper, to give, to provide this beautiful lake of wisdom. And even we are sometimes the visitors. And if we are in the role of visitors, we sometimes dive in to get out everything, almost everything. And sometimes we also may just walk along the shore, or maybe just sit in the meadow and enjoy the beautiful view, because we are not able to do more at that moment. And I guess whether if the visitors are embraced with words of gratitude or just with silence, because both are fine. And if we keep the balance of lake keepers and lake visitors, which we are both, if we keep that balance alive, the wisdom will keep flowing in love and appreciation, because that's why we are here. Sometimes to share our wisdom, as well as receive wisdom from others. And I guess if we realize that we sometimes provide the lake of wisdom, and it doesn't matter if it's just a drop of the lake, drop of wisdom, or if it's an entire bowl, we decide how much we give. Then we can walk away in peace and love, appreciate us, and appreciate the opposite. And therefore, we keep the lake alive. Now I would like to invite you in a short meditation. In this meditation, I would like to invite you to connect yourself with your inner circle of light. So sit down or lay down, whatever you feel, however you feel in the here and now. And just make sure You are in a quiet place where nobody distracts you for the moment. And then close your eyes. Take a deep breath. Inhale through the nose and exhale through the mouth. And just repeat that a couple of times. Inhale through the nose and exhale through the mouth. And inhale one more time through the nose and exhale through the mouth. And just allow everything to be. There is nothing you need to change. Just be. Feel your body. Allow your emotions, your thoughts, just to be. And just let pass them by like clouds. There is no reason to change anything. Just let them be. And then go with your attention into your heart. Feel that space in your heart, which is truly you. That space in your heart which welcomes you with all your thoughts, all your emotions, all that what's you. And breathe one more time in that space in your heart. That sacred space. And now imagine in that space there is a golden seed. This is the seed of your essence, of who you truly are. Notice its beauty. Notice how it shines, even if it's a tiny little spark, tiny little seed. And now breathe into that seed. And by each in and exhale, you can notice how the seed is growing, how that little spark is expanding. And let it grow until it fills out your entire heart. And keep breathing, keep growing until you can feel this golden light, your essence, your love, your light, your mission, you truly you, everything what includes you, everything what holds your energy, your soul, that light why you came down on earth with that mission, that beautiful soul, that beautiful heart. Let it grow until you can feel it in your entire body, in each cell of you. Let it go in each muscle of you. Feel it in your blood, in your arms, in your fingers, in your toes. Feel it in each part of you. And now let it expand even more. Let it get it wider, even outside of your body. Let this seed grow as far as you want in that moment, as big as you would like to have it. Let it grow until it fills out your entire aura, your entire energy field. How big it should be in that moment, you decide. Maybe 1 meter radius, maybe 100 feet, maybe even 1 entire mile. Let it expand and notice that this inner circle includes and holds everything what you are, the true meaning of your thoughts, the essence of your heart, the true meaning of what you say, of your words, the true meaning of your soul, everything that is you, the true you, the essence of you, is in that inner circle. And if you have it now in that radiance and that whiteness, which feels perfect for the here and now, for that moment, set the intention for you. This is my inner protection. This is my inner circle of light. This is me. This holds my space. This holds my love. This holds my entire me. And notice how it builds even a lightful fence around you. Not a fence who is blocking the outside from within, but holding the space on a lightful way. Knowing that this is your space to create, your space to be, and your space to hold the good energy. Everything what has a heavier, darker energy has to stay out. There is no room for lower energy, for heavy energy, but at the same time, you nourish at the same time as you nourish you, the outside. You nourish your friends, you nourish your family, you nourish those loving ones which you would like to nourish just by feeling, living your inner circle of light. Keep shining, keep nourishing yourself. And with that wisdom, that this circle of light will be there, will stay there, because you know it, because you set the intention. And then bring your attention back into your heart. Feel one more time this beautiful circle. And slowly open your eyes and come back into the here and now. Now I would like to invite you for some reflection question. Where in your life do you still say yes, even though you mean a definitely no, a no-no? And how would it feel to expand your being, your inner circle of light, instead of setting hard and stiff boundaries? And how might it shift your relationship if you see yourself as a keeper of the lake of wisdom? And what little deal would you make with yourself to turn an unpleasant task into something lighter? I hope this episode has given you a new way to look at boundaries, not as big, strong, heavy walls, but as beautiful circle of light, as a gentle, loving structure that protects you and lets you shine even brighter than you already are. Thank you for being here. I'll be so happy if you subscribe to this podcast or share it with someone who might need it right now. See you soon, and remember, you are allowed to breathe, you are allowed to be, because if I can do it, you can do it as well. Breathe. This is Life, the podcast with Monica.